Welcome to the Awakening Spiritual Gifts broadcast. So happy to be here on our Wednesday at 11. How is everyone doing today? Just a reminder, it kind of says at the top, but also just to remind you here, you can post any questions, comments, anything that you'd like to discuss or take a look at. I'm here to just serve you for the next little while. And it's always such a joy. For today, I thought it would be kind of fun. Like, we've been looking at some of the energies of the day lately. And I don't know about you guys, but there does feel like there's a little bit of a shift today going on. There was quite a bit of kind of fatigue going on like last week. And even a little bit into this week. Yesterday, we had a new moon happen. That was kind of cool. I always love following the moon cycles. You know, it affects everything. It affects our earth. It affects currents. It affects animals. Of course, it affects us. I mean, like these patterns. And so yep, we got a new moon yesterday. And I feel a little bit more clarity today, which is really good. It's kind of like this shifting off of the old and getting into the new. How are you guys feeling? You guys feeling some of that? So I wanted to just also take a quick look at any other energies that are coming in for today and for this next week. So let's take a look at that. Okay, this is kind of fun. So I'm seeing kind of this pulsating energy. Oh, well, first, let me share with you. Yesterday, I took a look at it, and there was a little bit of like a messaging, like micro messages that were coming in. It was like more detailed, a little bit more encouraging words, or it was some instructions. It felt like some instructional details kind of coming in from heaven, and it was just kind of gently coming in and telling people some specific kind of micro details. Well, today, this new energy that I'm seeing, which is really kind of fun, is there's like this little cloud shaped kind of energy, and it's pulsing. It's like woof, woof, woof. And the patterns and stuff within that pulse is, it looks like some, and like very encouraging and like energizing energy. That's funny, energizing energy. But it reminds me of like if you're running a race and you have a team or you have people on the sidelines and they're cheering for you and they're like, you can do it, come on, come on, come on. It's that type of motivation and kind of encouragement in this energy, and it's just kind of pulsating like doof, doof, doof. So that this is a great time. Lean into that. Feel the encouragement. Heaven is cheering you on. You've got a support team around you. Whatever maybe challenge that you're facing, you've got this. You can do it. Like, you are stronger than you know. You've got a team. You've got support around you. You are loved. Like, all of that is the type of messages that are coming in on that. So hang in there. Like, it's just, so lean in and feel that encouragement and motivation, and hopefully it will give you strength and courage to stand up and face whatever challenge you're facing, or to rise to the next level, whatever that level looks like for you. So that's cool. I'm gonna ride that wave. Got some stuff in the works. I've been feeling a little like, okay, hang in there, Martina. So I'm definitely going to be loving that energy. Love it. Love it. All right. I have a few messages too from yesterday that I'm also going to, I'm going to do the live, who's on live, and then I'm also going to go back and kind of answer. We had so many great people on our live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at additional bonus sessions for readings for the Intuition Gym members. And then on Tuesday, there's in our free awakening group. So we had some that we weren't able to get to. There were just so many people on it. It was awesome. So I'll get to those if as I have time. So great stuff here. All right, let's go through. Oh, Natalie, that is cool. You've seen that through angel numbers. Very cool. Yeah, some of these messages, it's really fun to see the energy, and then afterwards, I'll go and then I can see symbolism in it, and like the planets and the way the stars are aligning, some of the messages there, human design, the gates. I always love looking at those. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It totally is fitting with the energy that I'm seeing. And then, yeah, like you said, angel numbers, some of these signs and stuff. So very, very cool, Natalie. Thanks for sharing. Okay, Melinda, let's go to you, my dear. How are you doing? I always love to see your beautiful creations on Facebook, by the way. You're like a master creator. I swear it's like, you should have like a membership or something where people just can like, Melinda's creations of the month. Just partake of your amazingness. Because I just love what flows through you. Okay, so let's do a general reading for you, my dear, and see what's coming up. Oh, hold on one second. There's a couple things that are coming in that I have to take notes on really fast. Okay. Okay. Oh, I lost some of the details on that one. Okay, it'll come back to me. Okay, so let's go into this really fast for you, Melinda, on what is coming up. All right. This is kind of fun. So I'm seeing there's like an expansive energy around your eyes, but it doesn't have a lot of intensity to it. Like it's not going out across the land. It's just very, very much like home right here. So it is kind of interesting. It doesn't surprise me that you're maybe in a mode of creation. Like you're just seeing some things that create things you could do, but it's more of a pulling inward. Like if you were to think of like a breath, like you've got an inhale and an exhale. If you were to define like inhale creation, it's like that. It's like, although I'm pulling more inward into my home or wherever, your inward space is, it's like, it's still creating an expansive here. And then later it could be like an exhale where you're taking some of those out and pushing more in an outward way to the world. So that's kind of cool. But I love that energy there that I'm seeing. Very open eyes. And it is kind of this container, like almost a capsule shaped kind of energy there. And it's just like, and in fact, it's kind of interesting because it's there within your eyes, but it feels as if like your whole head is inside of it. Like you're just looking around going, okay. Oh yes, there's this, and I could do this. And it just kind of feels like you're in that space. In a way, it kind of reminds me of when people get in a creative zone and they just like, or if I've experienced it too, like when I'm in the zone and I'm just, it's like I can get lost. I can spend time doing things because I'm just in that zone. So it feels like you've got a zone going on, which is really great to ride through. And it feels as if, I do see, I don't know how many children or whatever you have, but I see strands coming down, and it's like thinking of children or thinking of other things in your world, in your home. But it's like connected to them, but almost bringing them up. There's like a flow between bringing them into your world and then kind of flowing back down. And it feels very beautiful. Like it just feels like that's a good flow. However, it does look like there might be some doubts or some self-criticism that could creep in, maybe trying to tell you that you're not doing enough with children, or you're not doing enough with your home, or whatever it is, that whoever you're feeling like, oh, I'm not doing enough with that relationship. I'm not, like I can totally see that message could try to sneak in there. And just to know that you don't have to be everything to everyone. And it's okay to take a break. It's okay for you to be in the zone and to just be coming out and kind of visiting that zone and bringing them into the zone. And then when it's time to do something else, you can go down and you can serve in a more expansive way with that individual. So don't feel guilty that you can't do that and be everything for everyone. It's okay to do kind of a flow. I hope that helps. That was kind of an interesting energy that I had to kind of decipher. So let me know on that one. Um, all right, let's go to the next one here. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, some great question about muscle testing. Yeah, muscle testing can go wonky sometimes. So let's talk about that. Try to do muscle testing to answer yes or no questions. But I ask, is my name Divine? It should be yes. It's my real name. And am I Larry? Should be no, but my muscle testing is not accurate. Okay. So I'm really curious if you have taken, does muscle testing typically work for you? Is it just right now that it's going wonky, or is it always like you're just trying to figure it out and it's going wonky? Because there's a couple of thoughts that I'm having on that. One of the first ones is that depending on your spiritual sense, sometimes muscle testing can go wonky for you. Like I'm calling you just going wonky. But sometimes muscle testing isn't super accurate for people with certain spiritual senses. Now, the spiritual senses, there's 10 of them that I've identified. Some I've never seen anybody else teach anywhere else because it's based on some of the patterns that I see, but those are the antennas that come up. So do you pick up information through sight, through knowing, through taste, through smell, through touch, through movement, through expression? Figure out which hearing. There's some, yeah, did I get them all? Touch, anyway, emotions, feelings, anyway, but there's 10 of them, and there's a free quiz that you can take to identify which out of the dominant 4 you have. And if you have not, and it also gives you the option to go to a free training that's a whole hour long after that if you wanted to look at that and learn about all 10 of them. But anyway, so especially like the knowing one, people typically, so if you just have that gift of knowing, like things just enter into your mind, you don't know how you know, you just know. I'll tell you what, that's probably the number one spiritual sense that usually, well, that and probably the movement ones, but they have a more difficult time with muscle testing. Why is because it almost messes up. It's like it gets too much. It's like, well, this is this, and then it starts overthinking, and that overthinking can mess with your natural ability to just know things. So, oh, right here, I'm claircognizant. There you go, claircognizant. That is the knowing. So there are other methods that I would say that you could lean into. And here you're saying muscle testing never worked in the first place. That languaging right there is one of the first things I ask, because like those 2 things and being claircognizant and that having that knowing, like almost every single person I've ever met with a dominant claircognizant will say that muscle testing doesn't really work for them. Now, some things that so this is like in the intuition gym, and that's like the membership. I love to really just dive in and help people focus on their strengths, their intuitive ability. So for first and foremost, I would say to just lean into more to your claircognizant. Can you put some things in place? And for those of you that are not familiar with what I'm talking about here with the intuition gym, that's just, you can just go to the intuitiongym.com/join, and that's where the information is on this. But with claircognizant and with anybody that I like to work with, I like to develop like almost in your own unique intuitive language. How can you lean into what you naturally do and where your dominant spiritual senses are? And can you create some kind of system for you that is almost a languaging or like a discernment thing where you can decide? So for you, I would say, can you just start experimenting with even things like, is it yes, is it no? What is your maybe secondary spiritual sense? If you've got something with sight or feeling, can you incorporate multiple spiritual senses to gauge whether it's true or not true, or if it's yes or no? Claircognizant people typically have a very strong, I'm going to say, BS meter. Like they can spot out lies and hypocrisy. It's like their truth meter. They can be pretty good at truth. Now, this is if you lean into confidence and not allow doubt or second guessing to come into place. So if you can really lean into that confidence and then feel into truth and feel into yes. How does a yes feel to you? How do you know it's true? And think about this like in the past. What does it feel like in your mind? How do you know something is true or yes? And how do you feel when something's no? What sensations, what images or just thoughts are like knowing, and lean into that. You could also come up with, I've had people that do like a pendulum that is claircognizant. They like to use something like to give them a physical object where they don't tend to overthink. They can just sway something to a yes or a no and get more clear answers because they're not because they're not familiar. So okay, so you said clairsentience would be second. So great. I would lean into that with your knowing and your sensory, like how your body feels, to get into some of that, and then you can know. And then also, then when you're muscle testing, you can kind of like, if you wanted to still try that. I honestly, with those two dominants, I wouldn't say that you would need to. I would say develop something else. For anyone else that is watching, sometimes muscle testing can go really wonky too. If, let's say, sometimes our polarity can get flipped. Like a yes answer can actually test as no, and a no can test yes, and something that's good and true could test false. So it's really important to get your grounding statements first to make sure that you're testing truth. This is where it's great to start with like your name. I even like to say, like, I'll say something like Jesus, it's like, okay, that's strong, that's good. And I know that my polarities are aligned with some of the things that I know to be true. So also too, Heidi, and that was one of the next things I was going to say, a sway test is a really good one. If you can just find methods to, because she's claircognizant too, but if you can just do something that takes the brain out of it, where sometimes muscle testing is too thinky, like you have to overthink it. So if it's just like your body reacting, that's why something like that. And then Natalie, another great comment here. It didn't used to work for me, but when I use my clair feeling, I feel it in my torso, and I don't use my hands or anything like that. Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, and Natalie, totally one of our Intuition Gym members. Just shout out to Natalie. Yeah. So good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad that that helped you, my dear. Good. Good stuff. I'm sorry. Does anybody else? Melinda mentioned that there's some skipping around. Is there any other skipping around on anybody else's end? Is it my connection, or was it Melinda's? Because I want to make sure that the technology is running smooth if I have to repeat anything. So please let me know. Okay, this was another awesome comment here. Monica, thanks for mentioning this. I couldn't muscle test until I started working on eating better. Yes, our physical bodies. This is like, it's so crucial. And I dare say this is for just not muscle testing, but any of our intuitive abilities. It's really important for self-care. This could mean sleep. If you have neglected your sleep and you're really tired, boom, it can affect things. Your adrenals, if you're constantly going, and your system is getting burnt out, then I've actually had it. I've described it as, if I've ever muscle tested, it feels like there's a short in my system, or like a pilot light goes out, and it's like, okay, it's working, and boom, it stops working. It'll tell me some clues that, oh, I got to actually take care of myself a little bit better. If you're stressed, if you have fear, if you are allowing, like some of the, if you have attachments to outcome, expectations, and you're like really emotionally charged about something, then muscle testing won't work. It's like, it really has to come from that objective place. So good stuff. Really good stuff here. Okay, so let's go to, my dear, let's see here. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, Natalie, let's look at this. I'd love another money read. I'm looking at getting a part-time job and I don't know where to look. Okay. Good question. I'm actually glad you answered this or asked this because it feels like there's other people on here that are having money questions or something too. Money is one of those things that can get a little tricky because when you feel a lack in that department, it can really easily kick you into, because it's kind of a survival thing, right? It goes down to like if you've ever looked at like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I mean, like the survival things like having shelter and food and those basic things are very foundational and at that very bottom level. So it's almost like you sometimes you have to have those in place in order to access the higher realms of consciousness and spirituality. And so here, like money can threaten that survival and it can feel a little scary. So one of the first things I'd say, like Natalie, when I'm checking in on your energy for this, it feels like to just remember to take some deep breaths and to step out of any of that I hope I'm making the right choice, or oh my gosh, I really need something. Whatever that energy is, it feels like it's in your breathing and in your chest. It feels a little panicky. So first and foremost, I would take some deep breaths. And as you exhale, just release from any expectations or outcomes, right? It's all going to work out. You will be okay. You will have like the universe and God, like it's all supportive to you. And so whatever happens is going to be okay. Like just get into that space. And then once you can get into that space and just to feel that abundance, feeling that as you're inhaling, allow like your inhale to be receiving, just to keep receiving, and then make your decision from that place. You are extremely intuitive. Is there a place that you feel to take your next step? Is there a breadcrumb? Like maybe like, who can you talk to today? Is there some place to go today? Is there a website you can visit? Is there a possibility? I'm sorry, that's like my random daughter's phone. It's probably some spammer. Anyway, just ignore it for a minute. But it feels like maybe there's just like a path. Like, are there people that you can talk to? You could post it on Facebook. Hey, everyone, I want to look for some part-time job. Maybe even work from home. Does anybody have anything? Like follow whatever intuition piece comes to you because it feels like you've got some of the answers you can follow. It feels like a trail to some answers and to being something that you would really like doing. If you'd want to work from home, my son's company, I think, is hiring to work from home. They just do like customer service for banking at home. If you want information on that, you can totally message me. But anyway, it feels like something like that. So let me know on that. Okay, good. Let's go to you, Dan. I'm going to disappear just for a minute. Still here, everyone. Okay, after your first reading, okay. Okay, so I was reminded about how I've been talked about spirit-to-spirit communication for a few years and how we do have a partnership with the other half of our team on the other side. Totally true. There are things that need to be done that are meant to be completed in the physical world, but we have help from the spirit world in executing. It is wonderful to know that you have ancestors to know. Oh, it kind of cut off. I'll read it. Okay, I'm going to hide it, but I'm going to read the rest of it. So we do have help from the spirit world in executing whether you hear the help or not, but it's wonderful to know you have answers to there and to know what. Everyone to cut off here too. It is so, so true. It's so good to know. Like we have we have access to so many, so much help on the other side. I mean, not only do we all have like a team of angels around us, it's like we've got, do you guys want to know some of the things? Like really, it's like, okay, we've all kind of got like some guardian angels. We've got at least a couple of them that are like by our sides. One, we typically have one that's a little more, I just want to say sometimes one is a little bit more of the masculine energy and like the doing. And oftentimes one is like the comforter and like, oh, you got this, and healer. And so we've all at least got a couple of these elements here. And then there's often ones that come in. We've got loved ones that are like invested in what we're doing, especially if there's any family things and chains that to clear up and chains to break, they're there. And then I've also found that if you've got something to accomplish or to do, then there is one that comes in and comes forward to like almost teach you something or to guide you. You know, I've worked with people where it's like all of a sudden, and I've experienced this myself, it's like all of a sudden I'm just in the flow, and it's like, oh, I've got kind of someone like a master on the other side that's just teaching me and like guiding me instantly. I do feel like, well, this definitely has come up multiple times, and this goes for both light and dark. On the other side, it's like there's some that are, or it's like sometimes those angelic helpers and those spirits that are there to be around us and to help us, it's like they've gone through like when I say masters, I'm almost picturing like a college, and everyone gets to choose their major. And so, okay, this one majored in accounting, this one majored in business, this one majored in communication. Like there's different majors. And on the other side, it's like I feel like this, and I've had experience with this, where there's some that are just really trained in certain areas. Like maybe there's one really good with like music, and one that's really been like, that's, if you think about it, like we have those interests here on earth and in our physical form, and on the other side there's also ones that are like that. And you know, maybe one's really gifted with finances, and one is really gifted with like healing arts, and so then if we have purposes and we have missions to fulfill in a certain area, and then we get kind of teams of people, or even just some that they come in just for a short period to help us accomplish something. With the dark side, there can also be ones that are very skilled in things as well, right? Like you get some that are really masterful in contention and to make people fight with each other. You know, there's some that are really skilled in trying to get you to be lustful and lean into the temptations of the flesh. I mean, it's like, or gluttony or greed or whatever. I mean, like they're like skilled in training in getting us to be tempted too. So I don't know why I'm going off on that tangent, but it felt like necessary. And then of course, you know, it's like, and this is why too, I also feel like it's super important for us to get clear. Like I always love to go, instead of just being open to whatever shows up to me, sometimes, especially as you open up these things, you can get so many, oh, here, I got something for you. I got something for you. So beyond our typical team, then you can, then all of a sudden, if you're open to that, then all of a sudden there gets to be like lots of people like, oh, that person's open, and you can get really bombarded and overloaded with things, you know, with spirit things on the other side that are eager to speak to you. So that's always like why I love to just almost get order in the way that I receive. That's why for me, I definitely pray. I go to God first, I talk to him, and then ask, and then get like, see what is there in my showing up in that angelic support team, and to kind of test. And sometimes they actually show up, right? Sometimes they just show up. Like if I'm writing or composing something, I just feel one right here, and I'll just kind of just do a quick check. Is this for ultimate good? Is this for service to God, service to others? Is this, you know, like for a service oriented, or is this just one I've had some tricky ones try to show up and be like, here, do this, and it feels very much like almost a service to self, like only they have kind of like a selfish kind of motivation. It's only about their level of enlightenment, and they're trying to get me to help them on their level of enlightenment. So I think it's really good to kind of like check that out, but just to know, I don't know why I'm going off on these tangents, but it just is so important to know that you have access to so much help on the other side and the team that is surrounding you. And the more that you work with them and know that they're know that you can listen, the more help you can get. So that's why I love it's sometimes like the angel numbers or looking for signs and things in like things just going along my path, like, oh, you're on the right track. And it's like, and then coupled that with like the feelings and kind of the discernment pieces that I have integrated in me. It's like I can feel and sense when it's like, okay, that's a good thing, I'm on the right path. This one's not so good. Like it's like we got to look for those things because they're everywhere. Whether you see rocks that are shaped like hearts, or maybe you find money everywhere. Maybe it's numbers. Maybe it's messages. Just keep an eye out and look for some of those. Love it, love it, love it. Dan, thank you for that. I'm diving in. Thank you for, I feel like you were inspired on that. I feel like you were totally meant to talk about that message. I don't know if it got cut off there, but I feel like you were inspired on that because it's going to help other people as well. Like there's just some of us that need to be reminded that we have a team and that we have so much more. So if there's something specific that you're working on, totally pray for that and be like, you know what, can you send me someone, like maybe like Natalie, you asked about a job, maybe there's a job finding one. Like I pray for that kind of stuff all the time. I'll have like a table of meeting and I'll be like, okay, I'll be like, okay, I need at least 2 angels to be with this extra to help go find me a new car. I've got my child that's taking a test today. Can I have one extra one that's really going to be with my child to help them take a test? Okay, I've got this one. I've got this. Can I have like 4 of them to help me work on this project here? I just feel like I just need more. And I'll just ask specifically for like whatever comes to me with specific angelic help, specific roles, specific duties, things that have to be done. I'll ask for very specific ones too. So, and I love this. Natalie's like, I love Dan's questions. Yeah, they're good. Good stuff. Yeah, and I love that. Another comment too about open to receiving the laws class. Yeah, so the laws class she's referring to is in the Intuition Gym. So just the intuitiongym.com/join if you want more info on that. But yeah, we totally go into like universal laws. Like we got to know those things, and it helps us so much in our lives. And yeah, receiving is one of those. Oh, can I share a really fun little thing about receiving? You can kind of test your receiver and see how it's off. Our breath is really connected to receiving and giving. So if you just like take a natural breath and like go. Just inhale very comfortably and then exhale. See which one is easier for you. See which one has hiccups. Like, so it's like sometimes if you're like, and you're having a hard time inhaling, but you're like, man, I can exhale. And I almost exhale twice as long as my inhale. It can give you a clue that, oh, I'm giving more than I have. I'm exhaling to the point where like I don't have anything left, but when I receive and I'm trying to inhale, I'm not receiving as much. So you can kind of monitor that. Or if you inhale easily, but then the exhale is kind of clunky, it could be something like I receive, but I'm afraid to let things go. Because when I let things go, it might not come back to me. So I'm trying to hold my breath and not exhale enough. So it's kind of a fun little activity for you guys to do. Do your inhale and exhale. Let's see. Oh, I love this. I was told by Spirit that my great Aunt Kate was to teach me spirit communication. That's awesome. I echo your words, Dan, when you on the last line there that you said like we need to work together. There, I absolutely believe that. There's something about us here in our physical form and on this physical planet in the dimension that we're at, and then there's something there about the dimension that they're operating in, and that we can help each other. Like they can help us, but then when we do something and change something or heal something in here, and it manifests in that density in that physical form, it can break like extra chains that they just cannot access from their dimension, and then they help us to go to some of the higher realms. So I love that. I love that. And I love that you were taught and you were very specific and you knew it was your aunt. How cool is that? Yeah. She probably did it in her life. And so she had extra gifts there, and then very, very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, I'm going to go to, I'm going to go to, I feel like this is another great question. I'm going to go to this one. It was from Leslie on, and this is one that I have on my list. And so we'll just tag her on this replay. But she says, I've been feeling a lot of angel chills on my body for about 6 years now, but nothing in my heart chakra. I've done a lot of heart healing work, but I still feel like my heart is asleep and trying to wake up from past traumas. Any suggestions on how to heal my heart? So I thought this was a really good question, and it goes so well with what we talked about a little bit earlier with Divine or Divina. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, but I feel like it went so well with what we talked about earlier on this broadcast. And that is, like, Leslie, like, this makes me think actually that with your spiritual sense, we talked about the spiritual senses, there's actually 10 different spiritual senses. In fact, here's the if you just want to go right into the training of all 10 of them, it's right here. theintuitiongym.com/senses. It's free, just goes into the 10. It actually touches too on some of the intuitive personality types. But Leslie, I feel like you have, like, with your intuitive personality type and with your spiritual senses, these are the 10 senses and the way that we receive things. Like you're saying, when you said angel chills, that is a very clairsentient or sensory type of response. So you're getting that body sensory response. I'm also kind of feeling for you, like I say, claircognizant is pretty strong for you. Just like that instant knowing, like you just can know and you can navigate that really easy. And it feels like you have some of these other sensory things that are so strong that the clair empathy or feeling it in the heart is just not one of the dominant ones for you. And it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean it's broken. It doesn't mean that you can't feel it or that it's not good in your heart. But the manifestation of it, it's almost like the languaging and the manifestation of it is just showing up in these different areas. So if you could actually even just add a translator that whenever you feel those angel chills, whenever you feel something come into your mind, and I'd even like to say, like, you've got some energy strong around your eyes. I would say maybe your mind, the knowing, and even things you see. You've definitely got some like Watchmen fun energy there going, where you just see things and it's like, I see through that. Those things are so dominant and strong in some of the gifts that you have that that's a translator to your heart. So when and it just feels like just add a translator is part of the answer for you there, so that you don't think that something is wrong. It's like, oh, it is. It just looks different than maybe you think it's going to look, or how other people describe it to feel. And then things around your heart, I can definitely see you've done a lot of healing work on it. It's like I see your heart and I see like holes or old wounds that you had there, and it's been filled in with kind of a gold yellowish light. Like it just feels like you're really doing a lot of healing. It feels like there's a few things in the back. Like when I look at it, it feels like there's a little bit more. And the way when it shows up in the back like that, that could be maybe subconscious things about the heart you just didn't know you had to heal yet. And some of that, if I'm hearing words coming up with it, trust is one of them. And it feels like some of those pieces are going to be healed just by action, by taking those leaps of faith, by trusting again, by just loving again, trusting again, taking those steps forward. Then the back pieces of the heart are going to be strengthened and healed because of the actions that you're taking. And it's like you're gathering evidence Are you like this in real life or like in other areas too? You like to gather evidence. Feels like those pieces in your heart are going to be healed by gathering the evidence. And then like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm safe. I can trust again. Oh, I can love again. Yep, it's good. And then that is going to be building up the heart. But yeah, so I hope that helps. It's like, yes, there's pieces of healing in the heart, but it feels like you are operating in a way that you are feeling things. And it just might be different than you think. So love it. And let's go to, ooh, this is a fun question. Monica, that's fun. I believe I'm an earth, heart, mind, then sky in that order. Love that. Let's look at some of the energy that flows through you and see, because so what Monica is asking here is this is the intuitive personality types. So like I said, it dives in on that one training with the senses training, the intuitiongym.com senses, this one that I posted. But if you're curious about your dominant type, you can actually just go to the quiz. It's just the intuitiongym.com quiz, and you can go into your dominant personality type, intuitive personality type. Because each of these, we have all of the elements within each of us, but we lead out with one, and then it's like a flow. Okay, so I love the way that she messaged her flow. So it's like the anchor, the intuitive personality anchor, like that's where even you get energized. It's what sparks life into you. That's the earth energy. And then it goes heart and mind into sky. It's kind of like a northeast, southwest kind of thing. So by nature, if earth is her dominant, sky would be her last. So for those of you who are new to this. But yeah, let's see the flow of the energy for you and see how it moves through you. Okay, so I want to ask you about your childhood, Monica. Did you have a lot of mind energy family members? Just curious. Like, what did your family value the most? Were they just like, hey, try not to be, like we got to be really logical and reasonable? Like, did you have somebody, a parent or something that was a little bit more mind energy? Like, let's lean into kind of just the facts, just that kind of logical. I'm curious about that. And then the other thing that really influences us with our intuitive personality type, there's like another element, and that's kind of our decision and our processing. It's our mental lens. And the way that I describe this is it kind of a convex or a concave lens? So is it meant to expand outward, or is it meant to narrow in and focus and like just narrow down? Okay. Or a funnel is another way to look at it. Like, is it like a funnel trying to go down, or is it something trying to open up? So there's these two different kind of mental processing. And because what I'm seeing here is that you could possibly have a parent or someone that was influential in your life that had some mind energy. And then I'm thinking that you also have the narrowing down type of processing type, because it's like, well, I just want to finish things up. I want to close it down. I want forward momentum. I just want to make a decision and move forward. Okay, the opening up ones are like, oh, wait. I want to like, well, have we considered this? Have we considered this? We considered this. And it kind of, that's the opening, right? You got to take all these things into consideration. Sometimes you can get hung up on, and making a decision can be difficult because you're considering all this land of gray, but the narrowing it down is just like make a decision and move forward. Like, okay, what can we do? So because the reason why I'm asking these questions is possibly, and I just want you to play with this, could it be possible that you actually are more like heart, earth, sky, mind? Because the heart energy in you came across really strong in the way that it was showing. So like when I just looked at your energy, it was like the heart was like you have a bigger heart energy, which would be emotion. So if you had a parent that was like, keep your emotions in check, you can't, you don't want to spill all the emotions, then it would almost make you wanted, and and especially if you had a parent that was earth and it was all about like getting, more like the structure, routine, the traditions mixed with your closure, narrowing, get things done, decisions thing, then it could actually make you think that earth was your dominant. So yeah, so like when you say I do like results, checking things off, yeah, that can even just be the results, the like I was saying, the narrowing, getting forward momentum kind of thing. But where you're even on this call, let's see, Natalie's piping up here. It sounds like mine would be heart, earth, or sky, and then mind. Yeah, and that's one thing too to keep on the front of your mind when you're figuring out what your flow is to look at your environment, look at your upbringing. Did you learn how to speak or to live in that other energy really, really well? It's like we can do it well. So it's not necessarily what you can do well. It's almost what brings you the most joy. It's like that home base, like, oh, if I could just be this, it would make me so happy. So if you could be full heart, would that be make you so happy? And then if you went earth, heart, or earth, sky, and then mind, and then had your, the filter of just narrowing things down, getting results. Okay, we want to just get things done. That can feel a little bit like mind energy. And I'm wondering if that's what it is. How is your heart? When I invite you to consider that, what does it feel like for you? What if your heart is bigger? So anyway, but I think you're doing good. It's really, really, really great that you're identifying that. And at the end of the day, only you are going to know that. Even if I'm telling you, I see a lot of heart energy around you. At the end of the day, I don't even care what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I want you to be able to discover it. And so you can feel good about it, but just lean in and play with that. Like, what does it look like? Is your heart energy fully expressed? And see if that flow. I really want to dive. I'm not even going to just talk about this. I've been thinking about this for the last couple months. Because I really want to talk about all of these little nuances that can come in and influence the way we flow our energy and how our intuitive personality type is. But I'll do that in like the, definitely we talk about the stuff in the intuition jam and we'll dive in deeper there, but even in the awakening free group, I'm going to go into some of that. So, Kay, you are welcome. Love it. Love it. Yeah. It's just some things to ponder. I know, Natalie, I love that you're on here, Natalie, and you're piping up on there too, because yeah, if we've got the environment and the upbringing, it can really sway us. It's not what we can do well, it's what our home base, what like sparks that I'm free to be me in the flow. So good. All right. Well, thank you all for being here today. I love touching base with you guys. If you're not a member of the Facebook group already, we do have just a community. It's a free community. I invite you to join us there. And then especially, if you guys have any questions, if you'd like to get some questions answered before, you can do them before, during, or even after. You can email or message the Intuition Gem page. So, okay, thanks for being here, everyone, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.